Hello everybody, Glitch Reaper here. I'm here for another seed showcase, and this one kind of phrasing is Iceland in Minecraft, because it really is like you basically spawn in Iceland. So yeah, I'm just gonna go into this because the thing is, my brother was trying to come up with some interesting seeds as he was trying to basically dare the game into giving him its worst for a hardcore, and I gotta admit this is kind of close, at least in terms of your initial spawn. In a lot of regards. Now, admittedly, I've been in here looking around a little bit, so yeah, and this is kind of what you get initially. Well, admittedly, that's still going to probably be fairly random even when you get the same seed number. But so you got some starter supplies if you do that. Although in hardcore, I don't remember if it even gives you the option. So if he was going with full hardcore, it would be kind of brutal. Because look, do you see an actual tree anywhere? You got a little wood, but is there a tree? No. You're in Iceland. You're in the one nice, uh, warm spot in the middle of frozen nowhere. So yeah, I'd say this is fulfilled what he was originally trying to do. Now, as for the seed number, I'll, darn lips. I'll put that on the screen there, so feel free to pause and contrast it against various things for that matter. Ahem. I'll also try to put it in the description below. But yeah, if you want a hardcore challenge that is truly hardcore, this could probably be it. Uh, yeah. Uh, I might lock the daylight cycle to while I go around to show off things better because it will be more visible. But yeah, I think I'll go ahead and do that. So let me see here. See, do daylight cycle. Pulse. There we go. Okay, anyhow, the thing is, you start off in this nice little island in the middle of frozen nowhere. Like, this is one of the biggest glaciers you might see for quite some time. I was lucky enough to get a nice turtle showing up. That's very good. And this is basically one of the chillier ocean biomes, which is why it's like that, because it's a cold ocean. And cold ocean, as you can see, is where you get glaciers. So here in the update Aquatic, you can get some very exotic beginnings. Now, you do have other features around here, like you have a pretty deep chasm under the ocean, so that ocean ravine or ocean trench, I guess you could put it better now. Yeah, a trench is a lot better now. It goes down pretty deep, so you can see that there's clearly some serious like magma and obsidian deposits, and magma will suck you down, so you need to be wary of that when traveling, and you will see a few of these little structures around here, this particular world. Now, it does have, because of the glaciers, you will see blue ice, and is that guy holding something? It's the reason why I got this sword to have looting 3 and smite 5. It's like just in case something like that showed up. I could not resist. I wanted to see if I could get him to drop that, but no, he wasn't very gracious with that. Anyhow, what my plan was is this is kind of a bit different because this is actually a good portion of your starting area right here, and I mean like a lot of it. So you don't really have much in the way of well, trees. Like your basic startup is a little tricky. Now, on occasion, you can get saplings in some places, and I will be going around to the outer perimeter and show you how, if you were using this as an actual start for like hardcore, you'd be getting your supplies. So right now, because this is a ship, hello, there you go. You will be able to get things like buried treasure maps and stuff, although I've already been around this area a little bit. And because of that, I've already kind of activated some of the maps. Thing is, you're really supposed to kind of do one map at a time because of the way that they operate, because they kind of do this special search pattern. They find one that you haven't actually found yet. So doing multiple would be a bad thing if it was in a row. So yeah, there is that little problem. Now that one's pretty rich. You could buy a lot at a nearby village, and there are some nearby. Really? Again already? I'll have to clear the weather, because this is not very conducive to doing this, so yeah. Thank you. Yeah, because thunderstorms are not very conducive to doing a siege showcase. You just go away there. Now, because we are in a frosty biome that has opaque blocks, you will get enemies to show up on top of them. So packed ice will reveal more than a few things. And there's the starter island again. Now, I have seen polar bears show up in this biome, and each time I see these structures, I gotta kind of rate them, because I'm trying to see if there's like a possibility of getting saplings in those, because that would be an interesting way to start up, is to go with loot only. Of course, you could also run off the wood itself for a while. Hi there. Hello. Yeah, that one's starting up, but yeah, normally you wouldn't do this where you'd go like one after the other and just activate all the maps. You'd actually probably want to space it out. Now the thing that and this is like a sunken village, not just like one ruin here. But whenever this kind of thing happens, you can get several in a row. And the thing about it is these underwater ruins attract the ground like crazy. They, like, it's not just that they'll spawn in initially, they will in fact spawn frequently afterwards at these structures. So if you're looking for things like, hey look, that guy happens to have yeah, this guy's holding on to a fishing pole. Say, can you hand that over? Please? Oh, come on, I need to line up. Yeah. Now sometimes you'll get them in here, by the way. And always remember this delay is for whenever it's searching for a new location. But yeah, but yeah, the thing is that I will try to take those guys out whenever I see them. But yeah, so this spawn is kind of magnificent, actually. I mean, if you think about it, you could do like a loot-only run for like quite some time. And see how well you do. I mean, that would be a challenge. You're looking for like wood and stuff off your supply chest. And hey, look, as I said, polar bears. I knew I'd seen some around here. Now, you will, of course, get snow, ice, packed ice. I have actually seen in this super glacier before. Oh, wait, that's literally about to complete my statement. Blue ice at surface level. So yeah, if you got far enough along to get silk touch on something, you would be in, like, frozen heaven. Because you could get all the ice, all the icy stuff that you could possibly want, you would be able to get. Did it? Yeah, it did that thing where it reset my memory usage. That's why it's having issues. But yeah, as I was going to show, if you get far enough out from the glacier, which might have had be kind of tricky, because it goes a huge distance. I mean, just look at my coordinates. It's going out several hundred blocks in all directions from your starting point, right? So if you're trying to get out to places like this where you could get like permanent supply lines, you're gonna have to make that run across that, swimming and sliding across ice and hoping that nightfall doesn't hit before the enemies start sniping you from the tops of the glaciers, which would totally happen. And this is definitely one enormous deposit of blue ice. I mean, oh my gosh! I mean, that's just beautiful. That's enormous. But yeah, after you get through that, you can get to regular things. Like, for example, out here, whenever you get a few hundred blocks away, you will be getting an impressive forest. In this case, a nice taiga biome. And so if you want to start with spruce rather than oak, yeah, you're perfectly fine that way. You also do get to have like shoreline, and that means that you have access to, well, anytime you get anything bordering water, you have the possibility of sugarcane. Now, it should be noted that because this is past the update Aquatic, that you, like, even with that meager amount of wood you got, you would probably be able to just barely get enough stone to make a furnace, and other things, because if you do that, you'd be able to be pretty well fed, because you're starting basically in and around the ocean, right? So like this whole mega spawn area, like, if you consider it extended, then it becomes pretty useful because you have kelp all over the place, both within the glacier area and outside like here. So you would be able to have food, because remember, you can cook kelp now into a dried form. Really? Really? There you go. But yeah, you can cook it into a dried form and eat it. And so you would have serious supplies. Also, remember that fish will be swimming around in the ocean waiting for you. And in fact, even within the glacier, you will get salmon because they love cold oceans. Now, whenever you're going along the outer perimeter, you may see a few things from the sides. Well, I've gone a little farther than the perimeter in the area you'd look around actually. So, oops, went a little farther. But yeah, as you're going around the edge of this massive glacier, you can kind of skim around for various supplies, and you will see other types of biomes. Like I know there's a desert that actually is kind of within sight from the outer rim. Here's another decent island within it, actually. This is not the starting island. Although it does have a certain resemblance, it is not the starting island. So there are a few that's kind of embedded as well. And kind of nice, might I add. And you will be getting, of course, those new aquatic structures giving you supplies. And here's the desert I was talking about earlier. You'll also notice that sometimes you get shipwrecks that are pretty conveniently placed, actually. Because of the way this one works out, some of these will also be going along the outer edge that you'll be able to perceive and find supplies, like this one right here, which is insanely stuffed. That is the most stuffed chest I've ever seen in vanilla in terms of just number of places occupied. You can't get any more than every space occupied. Dear goodness, that was its own kind of luck. But yeah, the thing is that you will be finding various supplies all over the place, some of which will give you edibles, like wheat that you can use to make bread, or various fish and things like that. And you'll also be getting, of course, as I said, the kelp before, the fish, and all that jazz. So you'll be kind of provided for, although it would be an interesting twist on... Speaking of interesting twist, I don't remember seeing this kind of shipwreck before. This is actually kind of new. At least I think this is supposed to be a shipwreck. Oh my gosh, well, what even is this thing? It doesn't look right at all. Oh dear. Whatever. But yeah, as I was saying, you'll be able to do an interesting twist on hardcore survival if you wanted to start this out as a challenge, because all that ice is a great border before getting to a permanent supply of wood on the perimeter, like finding that taiga biome. You will also have other things along the way, but your tools will be a little limited until you get there, because you'll initially just have a little bit of wood, and that's going to have to last. And there's like, although admittedly you could theoretically make a bed for yourself. I mean, if you forfeited a few things and just waited for a few spiders, you could totally do it. Now, along the border, there's also other cool features, like this village here. So yeah, you'll note that you can kind of sweep outward, and you could be kind of like Norse traders going out from their frosty civilization to warmer lands to do business. And in this case, it's totally working it with this village. Because you can see that they're kind of... it's a good village here. It's a good village. Remember, I'm keeping the coordinates up for a good reason. If there's anything you like, you just remember. It's around here somewhere. Wow, that's a lot of obsidian, actually. Yeah, that's more than enough to make an enchanting table. So, yeah. So, but again, the way that they loot tables these days means it's not necessarily as guaranteed as the seed number would suggest. So there is that. So if you see any loot specifically, it may or may not be there for you if you use the same seed number. But otherwise, it's been kind of a beautiful world, and I'm just literally going around the perimeter of your initial uh, general spawning conditions. Like you initially spawn in an island in the middle of this glacier of awesome size. And look, another shipwreck. And the thing is that you'll have to get past this glacier, which may or may not include some bears. It may include bears. There's a statement. And then you'll be able to get to any permanent supplies. So before you even get to permanent supplies at all, if you was going hardcore, you'd have a bit of a challenge there, because you'd have to go against the fact that everything else is frozen over. Here's a nice regular forest. So you have your tree variety is increasing over time. So there is that. Although again, it's only past the perimeter. You have to get to the outside of that glacier first for all of this, folks. So if you want to see anything other than ice, which is admittedly rather beautiful, but at the same time, there's a place and time for it. And whenever you're trying to do serious survival, that's usually not the time that you want to see this much ice. So good luck getting to all this other stuff. Just let this be the temptation happening, saying, if you can get past this ice, all this can be yours. Yeah, good luck, good luck, everybody, because this is definitely a challenge seed for hardcore after update Aquatic, because massive glacier everywhere. I mean, I'm still bordering this thing, and I haven't even shown off everything that's around it yet. So, yeah, and do remember, of course, any time you get a buried treasure map, fulfill it first, and then go to another possible location of another one. So basically, do one uh, aquatic ruin or one shipwreck first, and then you go for another one after you've already found the treasure. So, and those buried treasures can have quite a bit in them. But yeah, another reason to, and speaking of supplies and things that have them, whenever you check a blacksmith forge, they have been known to also have saplings, so they're especially useful if you're on a super flat. But this ain't a super flat. This is just like, this is extreme challenge glacier version. So yeah, and this is also another one. One little note that I have about this particular village that I kind of already saw whenever I was here before. I've been wondering, why is it that desert villages don't have their churches made out of sandstone yet? I'm just an observation. Now, in the upcoming Minecon, you're going to get to vote on, this will be like possibly dated news in the future, but in the upcoming Minecon, the one for 2018, you'll be able to vote on which biome to improve next. And I gotta admit, I'm kind of leaning desert for more than one reason, and just correcting that would be one of the reasons why. I have so many ideas for how they could improve deserts myself. So, like, even including maybe going like full on Arabian Nights lore and having a genie involved, like a Jan would be nice. That would be awesome. I mean, I know it's probably more of a mod thing, and I've been kind of thinking of doing something genie related, but still, I mean, you gotta admit, if there's a possibility of going all out with desert lore, that would be something to do. And there's a pretty big, and back to the subject of this seed, the desert that borders this glacier is actually pretty impressive. The only reason why this is possible is that oceans can border anything. So that's the only reason why in modern Minecraft you can actually see this happen at all, is because oceans are considered a border for any biome, pretty much. You know, it goes ocean, beach, and then whatever, because it kind of neutralizes out. And therefore we have hot biome, and then cold biome. Really close, really close. So, which is kind of impressive darn lips, which is actually kind of impressive to even see these days at all. And of course, it may also have to do with the fact that they're kind of altering how, they already have, but they've altered how the oceans are divided in terms of biomes. So I guess they weren't taking that fully into account with the temperature gradient, because that mostly goes with land biomes. So yeah, they may have forgot one little detail. And right now, this seed number is a pretty good way of expressing that. Speaking of places that I was before while I was exploring this, we have another ruined village. And this one has some decently sized ruins of various sorts. Well, sort of. I've already checked into these by the mod ad. This guy must have shown up recently. This really illustrates my point. It's like they got bounding box style spawning, kind of like witch huts do. And that not only do they spawn in initially, but the drowned will also show up very frequently. Because I'm pretty sure this guy would have been despawned by now otherwise. I was trying to avoid that. I was really trying to avoid grabbing that, kind of. But, oh well, whatever. Anyhow. But yeah, so that just illustrates my point that you will find a lot of drowned at those structures regardless. And, yeah, and there will be plenty in this world if you select this seed. It's actually kind of decently impressive how much there is in this local area. Now, I have not seen a warmer ocean bordering it yet. That would be nice, but I don't know if I've even fully crossed the perimeter. You know, I'm wondering, would somebody do a count of how many times I've had to clear the weather? Because this is like the rainiest day. Now let's see. Let's make sure that lasts a while. Ha ha ha. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, buddy, you're supposed to this zombie doesn't know how to zombie. Oh, seriously. Okay, the zombie doesn't know how to zombie. That's kind of a new one. Hi, bears. See, this would be one of those situations where if you're crossing around, you might have bear issues, because the mama bear will be entirely hostile if she has a baby bear. Like, she will just charge at you. So that situation means, yeah, good luck crossing this glacier to get to everything around on the perimeter that I've been showing off. Because this is just showing what's just past the glacier. That glacier is huge. So, reminder, it is enormous. So, crossing that, you have to get to all this stuff that you'd normally use for, like, long-term survival. And so that's the whole point of this particular seed showcase, is you get all this stuff I've been showing off if you can get around it. Now, this is also an interesting one here. This is a ruin that is only partially submerged. Now, this goes back to another point about spawning that I was trying to go over earlier. It's based on the highest part of the surface that's still technically considered in an ocean biome. So if they get on top of an island, they can be completely above the water. But if they're at one of these really elevated areas that are just kind of borderline, where they're almost hitting the surface, then they can shove themselves through. And that's what just happened with this particular ruin, is it managed to kind of shove itself up and out. Ah, this is an interesting hybrid island. Yeah, I hadn't, as I said, I hadn't even gone the whole way around myself yet to even show everything off and explore it completely. This one is surprising me right now, actually. It's hybridized between a couple different types of ocean. Cold ocean and frozen. He's got the ice over there and it's green. That's actually kind of funny. Good job there, Island. Good job. You've managed to confuse people. Oh, here's like a better... Like, if you had started on this island instead of the island that you actually spawn in on, you'd have a much better time surviving. So, allow me to just kind of sit here for a moment and you think of these coordinates. It's pretty close to 390, 770. So XZ. So, yeah, this is a better island to actually live on if you can get, again, past the glacier. Because remember, that's several hundred blocks away from where you spawn, and you're against frostiness and the enemies thereof. So, yeah, again, good luck with that. There does seem to be more islands actually within it than you'd expect. That one has sugarcane. I mean, you could make kind of an extended frozen base in a way by using the islands as separate areas. Going, well, this is where I do my farming, this is where I raise my livestock, this is where I fish from, you know, all those little islandy things that you might do. Uh, just from the ones that are on the inside, let alone the stuff on the outside. And again, just going around this perimeter has been quite an experience. I'm still not seeing a warmer ocean, but at least I'm seeing more that has actual sand. Again, I do love how they reverted that, at least partially, where now oceans have sand on the bottom again. I just never thought gravel was a good choice to just leave it there, you know? It just looked wrong. It felt wrong for an ocean, and oh my god. Well, this just broke it entirely. Are you holding something? Nope. Oh my gosh. I kept trying to tell, I remember trying to tell my brother about this one. This is a really, really good example of one of the most perfect types of ruins. The thing is, whenever you're trying to make the conduit, you have to have a lot of prismarine for it. And, oops, sorry, looked down the wrong way for a moment. But anyhow, I was telling him that you could theoretically make a conduit using prismarine from ruins before you ever got to an ocean monument, and you could use it to help you raid it. Well, this one perfectly illustrates that point, because there's several blocks of prismarine in this structure. It's not enough to make one from, like, in one shot, but you can kind of build up to it. I saw... okay. Noms, riches, magic. This is a decently good chest. It just does not have a map to the right spot. This one apparently does because of that delay. Again, always note the delay means you're getting a good map. Hello. Finally. Yeah, that took a while to initiate there. But yeah, this is like another ruined village. Fairly illuminated, might I add, with there's got to be sea lanterns in there. Are there sea lanterns in here? Yeah, there's a sea lantern. That one has okay, I'm getting out of this particular frozen village. But yeah, that was actually a good one. It showed off that you can get prismarine in a way other than an ocean monument now. Of course, ocean monuments technically give it to you in two ways at once, but you still had to find one, because one, you could get it from the structure itself, and two, you could get it from the Guardians. Now, here we also have something that I definitely wanted to show off that was around. I just kind of had forgotten where it was. And that is this swampland. There's a swampland, or there's a swamp bordering the glacier. And this could be useful for more than one reason. Like if you needed to get slimes or something for your survival needs, this would be the place to do it, because as we know now, they can show up on the surface of swamps, although that's according to the lunar cycle. So yeah, you have this very nice, well actually this kind of borders a roofed forest. Well, now properly a dark forest. So yeah, so this is a nice area, and it, wow, that's actually a large amount of blue orchids. Nice. But yeah, this is kind of a weird hybrid area here, because you have swamplands, you have mountains, and you have a dark forest all kind of smashed together, which is interesting in and of itself, actually. Although I haven't really fully explored it either, so that'll be partially up to you if you wanted to do a really cool run on something like this, because this area is just got a lot of stuff to it, and it's why I just really wanted to show off this seed and the beauty of everything around the perimeter of this already beautiful glacier. Hey, look, Another shipwreck. That one is interesting because it's so far up that it's actually above the water line. Yeah, like you can see the masts sticking out. That's pretty cool. It's like, yeah, it's just like saying, "Hey, I'm over here. Help us. We're going down." Everything overboard. Hey, bears. Hi, bears. More bears. Oh my gosh, this is just a beautiful world. You could totally use this for a lot of things, especially if they really add even more content to iciness in general. This would be a fantastic start, or just more things ice could do would be really good. Not necessarily like improvement to the biome itself, but like just what you can do with ice. There's a shipwreck right onto a beach. It literally crashed into the beach, and the turtles are giving it their respects. Oh, wait, there's 4 of them. Hey. Do I know you guys? Nope, it's linking off. Maybe it really is. Maybe they really are the Ninja Turtles, and maybe that ship was from the foot or something. Because that seems like almost kind of like a crime scene. Dun dun dun. Speaking of which, I'm liking this new music they got for the update Aquatic. That's very nice. Darn lag. Thing is, there needs to be an easier way for the vanilla launcher to let you reset your amount of RAM usage than having to go in and doing other stuff. I mean, I can, but just kind of forgot to, and there's not exactly an easy button. So it's hard to remember to do that. Aw, another shipwreck. Huh, that's a well-lit area. Huh. I see, there's a ruin right under the glacier. Okay, that's interesting. But yeah. So yeah, look under glaciers. They might be there too. But yeah, this whole time you can just see the beauty of the glacier in contrast with everything that's outside that you're actually wanting to get to. Have I swung all the way around? I think I've swung all the way around. Nope, not quite. Not quite. Until I see spruce trees, I have not swung all the way around. Or for that matter, the desert, because I know the desert is a big border. Another shipwreck. Yeah, this place is rich in shipwrecks. Like, you will find tremendous amounts of loot. Mostly on the outer perimeter, but there will be a few that's wrecked somewhere in there. It's just not necessarily the most desirable place to be, because, again, you might be sniped by skeletons that are clearly at a height advantage. I mean, look at all these spots they can just spawn in and snipe you from. I mean, this really would be quite an interesting hardcore. Okay, now I'm all the way back around. I think so, anyhow. Oh, the irony. Oh, that was funny. What? There was one that was holding a nautilus shell that just poofed on its own, and it just... Okay, apparently that really is a guaranteed drop, because I didn't know if they do it if they were destroyed by environmental damage. Apparently the answer is yes. Okay, that solves that question. What would happen if they just burnt while holding it? Okay, that was kind of an interesting spontaneous test. I wasn't intending on doing that. Hey Squid, today's your lucky day. I don't have any further use for you. I'm already kind of literally circling the world here and pretty much done. In fact, this glacier is starting to look a little familiar at that. So yeah, I can go back to the core, namely right back to where you normally begin, and head off from there, while looking at the glacier going in, and all the stuff. But yeah, notice that we did not, on the other hand, see a coral reef, or a, like from a warm ocean. It was primarily just other things around it that you could use for a hardcore, but it's not giving you that nice coral boost. So good luck finding one of those, because you're probably going to have to go a lot farther out into the ocean to find it. Because I don't remember there being one anywhere nearby, so yeah. So if you want to build something fancy, this might not necessarily be the best choice, but for hardcore, remember, as I showed just starting up, yeah, this is a beautiful view, but also dangerous, because until you get a few hundred blocks out, like I was, you don't have any permanent supplies. I showed everything that you'll be offered as permanent supplies and otherwise, for that matter. But yeah, this is like, is there even enough in here to give? Yeah, there's enough to give you a boat. I'll give it that. But again, this might not be exactly what you get for your starting chest either, because they've redone loot tables. So if you're lucky enough to get about this much, you might be able to make a good run for it. If that was acceptably in hardcore to have that kind of boost, which I don't think you get, you could run for it. But if you're not in hardcore, it's still an interesting challenge, because kind of a survival island with the addition of frozen islands of ice everywhere for quite some distance. So this would be kind of unique as your starting location. And you can see that it offers a lot more than that, including a lot of convenient structures, including a couple of villages, a lot of shipwrecks, a lot of ruins, like lots of them. You get quite a variety of other things, and of course, just having enough ruins that you know that you can get is a good thing, because you can kind of hang out around there looking for drowned with tridents. And you have plenty of food, so this would be kind of an unorthodox place. So if you wanted to basically roleplay being Iceland, this is your seed. So I'll remember to copy that down. In fact, let me do that one more time, and I think if I do that, I might be able to copy this to the clipboard. Can I? Not that way. It doesn't quite, there's not an easy way to do that, actually. That's kind of weird. Or can I do this? Well, there's that. Can I, no, I don't think you can copy that regularly, but I do have it paused for you so you can see this seed number multiple times over. It's 68236151. It's actually a decently short seed, actually, so that should make it fairly easy. And again, whenever I get this ready, I will copy this somehow into the description below, so you'll be able to see the seed number in the description. But otherwise, this has been an interesting case for a seed number. I'm glad my pro found this one, because it's just so neat. I mean, seriously, I mean, yeah, you start on an island in the middle of frozen nowhere. This is actually one of the coolest things you can think of. Okay. Anyhow, this has been Glitch Reaper, and I'll be logging off for now. Hope you enjoyed this particular seed showcase and seeing all that it offers around the rim of the glacier. So, yeah, I'll be seeing you later. So I'll be logging off for now. Hope to hear from you all later, everybody. So bye for now, everyone.